The first thing which I'm going to show you all today is which I had earlier also told how to do like that SMS thing which I had promised in the emails and all. So how I was sorry email how I was sending a bulk email and all. Okay. So starting from the very start, like what I did. So I will tell you that first. So if I go to here to this is a Google form, right? So everyone is aware of Google form. So basically I had created this Google form for collecting data like how many are interested and how many are not interested, something like that, whoever are. So you can see I have given here the ratings for each of the numbers, right? So I have given 1 to 10 rating for each of the skills. So this thing in the question, like someone had written like she wanted to know how to help visualization for HR analytics and all. So regarding this thing, for example, I will say like I will take an example. For example, say an HR is trying to recruit some of the uh, new employees. He or she wants to recruit new employees, but how to find out? Like there are a bulk of CVs and all, etc. is coming, right? So what a company usually performs is a company will create a portal where the candidate can log in and create his or her own profile. Okay, so the candidate will have these options like what is your skill set and how comfortable are you, like that. So on basis, so it will be similar like this. Like most of you who have applied for a position, you can understand like what I'm trying to say. So you will face these type of questions like what are your skills and if you are can you rate. I think this is missing. Can you rate thing is missing, and most of the database records. So they won't ask this, but they will ask how many years of experience you have, how which say school or institute you have studied. So these things they will ask. Okay. So what happens now? So if a student or an candidate fills this form, the data will automatically get to my Google Excel sheet or Google Worksheet. So even if any one of fills that questionnaire, the records will be populated here. Okay, so it do not necessarily means that the records will be populated in a Google Sheet or somewhere anywhere. One can always have a separate database like SQL database or Oracle database or any or even some personal databases also. Personal not like company can even define their own databases for this purpose. So why I'm saying, because if someone fills the form here, it will be live. Basically, each of the data will come here directly. Okay. So the next thing is what I had done. I published this Google Sheet uh, so that anyone can use this table. So what I did is if I go to here file and then here you can see this thing publish to web. So if I click here, it is showing that it's already published to the web, right? It is showing. So what you will be getting, it will be saying like how to publish entire document. You can publish it whatever way you want. So if you see, it can publish it as a web page or a comma separated values CSV file, which we say tab, PDF, and all. So I have actually put it as CSV, comma separated value. So I will tell one more thing regarding this thing. So if you publish anything as comma separated values, so for example I will go to an Excel file. Okay, let's create a new file. This is a new file. Right now the extension for this is XLX. this means like it is Microsoft Excel. Okay, but let's say if I save, okay, I will give you an example. Say let's type anything. Okay, let's type again anything. Let's create one more sheet. Again type anything. Again type anything. Okay, now we have two sheets, right? So we need to be careful of this thing because most of the time we do mistakes regarding this, because this is an Excel format. What happens if I save it as CSV? So I will go to browse and save it somewhere in my desktop. Okay, let's say test file, and this is, you can change here like what to save. So I can see there are many versions of CSV. I will just go by simple CSV, comma delimited or comma separated value, sorry. Okay, now I will save this file. So it will throw an error like the selected file type does not support workbook that contain multiple sheets. Okay, so even if I ignore this message, I just click OK, and then it will be something like this, possible data loss and all. Okay, okay, okay. So now let's close this file. You will see what happens now. So you can see already one thing, that our sheet 2 has been renamed as test file, the name of the file. So I close it, save, then go to my desktop. The file is here. If I open it, see what happens. Our first sheet is not here. It got uh, like it is deleted. So this is what happens with CSV, comma separated value. So whatever the sheet whichever the sheet is active while saving as a CSV will be the only sheet retained in this CSV storage, CSV format. So this thing we need to take care of whenever we are using CSV, and there is nothing, no formula will get saved here. If you use an Excel, nothing will get saved here, only it will be the data. So be aware of this thing also, like keep it in mind. So not going into the deep, let's go back to our demo only. So after publishing, right, you can just click here publish and it will be published. It is showing me a link. I will just copy this link, and I will go here. I will say let's say create a new page. I will click get data, and then it shows many options. I will just click on web. Okay, so and then just paste the link here. Sorry, I didn't copy. So before copying, you should check like at the end of this link, right? It should be equal to CSV. Okay. Now I'll paste it here, and I will say OK. And now you can see here, right? Everything is here. You can change the file encoding type also. I will let it be as of now as Windows. You can see the delimiter here is comma, that is CSV, and you can see each of the columns. Like this is a preview downloaded, right? So we can see basically our columns are not renamed and something. So instead of directly doing load, we can just click on transform data. It will be something like this. Let's see someone say anything. Yes, I am recording as of now. So let's see if it is recorded properly or not. Okay, so now you can see this is the transformation pane where we can transform the data. Like I will show you how to transform and all. So I have already loaded this registration form. So I will just close this. I will show this part later on, how to do and how not to do. So let's say discard changes, discard. Okay. Now going back to our original this thing. So here you can see, right, we have this thing. You have rated yourself 3 as a familiarity with TBMS. The maximum number of people, that is 8, have rated themselves as 7 out of 40 people. So total we had 40 people. But if I go now, I think last day Vishal had entered his something latest data. So you can see Vishal. So we have in total of 41 people as of now. So we have one new record. So how it will come here? So I will simply click on refresh. Okay, it will say it is refreshing, loading data to model. Okay, and now you will see everything gets changed here. See, 41 people you can see here, right? Yeah. So basically, this is the way we are highlighting how to. Okay, I think part of the data has been lost because I didn't save or something. I don't know. Okay, let it be. So this is my customized column where I will be defining the text which I will send in the email for each of the individual. Like Abhay will receive this thing. You have rated 3. So similarly, Hemant will receive this text or email. Okay. So this could be a really helpful thing for like in HR analytics. So what HRs can do is they could have a say database, and that will be live kind of thing. So whenever a new candidate puts in his or her data, it will automatically come here directly. And what HR can do is he or she can just simply say, okay, I want to see the maximum rating who have given on database management. So I will just click here, and it will accordingly say, okay, this is 111. I don't want one. I can just again click. Then it will be like, okay, maximum is having Omkar. Omkar is having rating 9. So I can uh, reach to this person directly. So they can do this thing also, and there are many also analytics which we can HR can do uh, with the help of this type of tools and analysis has provided. They can also use say machine learning and all if they want to. Like for example, if a candidate uploads his cover letter, so how will they interpret the cover letter? So in that case we can have the text analysis, and that will help the HR to understand, okay, this is the right candidate, we can go through them, we can reach them. So this is the way I think HR analytics can be used, and there are many ways also which might be we can show in the latter part of the sessions. So now uh, I'm not right now showing that demo like how to send an email because I'm missing. I think I might have saved a different file or something like that. Okay, so I will check this part later on. Okay, I have not signed in also. No, no worries. So now coming to our this measures part. So let's open. contours of files. So speaking of measures, this is kind of a very important thing in the whole Power BI. And measures is written by a coding language. We have to write, we have to learn actually DAX. So DAX is a coding language for measures and other things as well. So here, okay. So you can see now, right? We have that table which we were exploring last day. Okay. So here you can see we have this cell sum basically. So what cell sum is, if I click on cell sum, so if you see here, I will bring cell sum also directly, cells quantity, cell sum out, sorry. Yeah. So now you can see, right, for we have promotion name and when did it start? Like at the start was on, okay, North America spring promotion started on this date. Okay, and we have the sales sum, which is basically a measure. You can see here, and this is sales amount. This is coming directly from our table, whatever table we have stored here. Okay, so this thing you can see North America spring promotion for that particular promotion and which started on 1/1/2011. We have this much amount of sales amount. Okay, and similarly for 2012 we have 31 something, and same goes on for everything. But what if we want to see the sum of all the North America spring promotion or North America holiday promotion? So in that case, we are using measure. So you can see, right, for all the North America promotion, the measure is same, the values are same. Okay, so this is where the context and filters come, and this is where the requirement of a measure comes. So if measure is required for various purposes, like if you want to uh, do more calculations on this, then also you will be needing to write a measure. Like, okay, I want to see the values multiplied by 3, then also you can just simply write a measure. Okay, I will show you a simple measure, new measure. Okay, so I will name it as multi thrice value, and now I will just say, okay, what to do is simply I will take cells. It won't take it like this because why it won't take, I will tell you later part. So I have to write calculate first. Why? Again I will tell you this thing. So now if I want to write sales amount, this sales amount, right? So I will just click write this sales amount. Okay, sorry, sum. We need to give an aggregation sales. Now you will see sales amount here. Okay, I will just click tab. Now this thing is happened. I will close this bracket and now I will just multiply it with 3. I will close this, calculate, and now just enter. So here you can see our new measure has been defined, and I will just drag it to here. So now you will see all of these values have been multiplied by 3. You can sorry, these values you can check it. like 31 cross 3, it is something 93. So these are multiplied by 3. So this is why we need a measure. Now coming back to Excel, because in order to make people understand what how this calculate and everything uh, function works. So I will show one more thing. We have a link here, DAX guide. Okay, just search DAX guide, DAX.guide. Open here, and now you can see all of the functions listed here. So you can check what are the functions and what is the syntax for writing that. So I'm showing you here because you can see what type of functions we have. So we have aggregate functions. So for example, sum is our aggregate function, max is aggregate function, divide is again aggregate function, date time function. So date time, you know what date time is. So this important function, filter function is there. So this is the most important function which we will be discussing now. Uh, so again, you can check other functions also, like we have statistical functions also, which will have regression analysis and all. So we, those things also is present here. Now I will come to Excel for let you so that you can understand more better, because Excel is the best, I guess. So many of you don't know what this actually is. This is a pivot table. Okay, what pivot table means? So I have another table sheet here. I will just unhide that. Okay, so you can see here I have created say a table, just a fixtures table, which is showing like comic universe as MKP, Mukesh Khanna Productions, and a name of the superhero is something like this, and category is he human, non-human, or mutant, something like that, and superpowers are based on like category, super strength or speed analytics. I have defined some random variables. These are not actual, so don't believe on this. So I am just taking this, say I will select the whole table and I will just insert a pivot table. So when you click on insert pivot table, it will say something like this, and just click OK. So it will open in a new worksheet. So after clicking OK, you will get something like this thing. So you will be having all the columns here. Okay, so you can drag whatever column you want where. So for example, in rows I have put this name column. So you can see the names of the characters. Okay, in columns we have superpower. So you can see the superpowers, that category, analytical power or ionic power, speed, super strength, and everything. And in values I have written sum of values, basically not written, I have dragged it here, and by default it is sum. You can change it to max or minimum or anything by. So this is a pivot table, and you can see I have dropped category in filters. Okay, so this is the filter. Here you can see I have the option to select anyone. Okay, I can check only for human, mutant, non-human. Okay, but this is again this is slicer. So if you guys remember from previous tutorial session that I had told you about the concept of slicer in Power BI. So we also have slicer in Power BI. So basically whatever you put here in the column name, so if for example I will put the names, so you can filter on this basis. Okay, so similarly we have slicers in Excel. You can again insert slicer from this place, insert slicer. Okay, so for example if I want to see only about MCU, so I will just click MCU and it will show the characters having characters in MCU, or DCU, only the DCU characters. So it is something like this. So if I select all, then it will show me everything. Similarly, this is a filter. This is kind of similar, but it is different. Like you need to select and click OK. So it is having one step extra for implementing. Like you cannot directly filter any visual from here. So if you to be more clear what this is, so if I select human, then I have to click OK, then only it will filter out human. But in this case, if I just click on it, it will filter everything. So I think now you know what is the difference between these two types of filters. Okay, so this is basically a filter is defined only for a particular visual or say or complete chart or something like that. But a comic universe, the slicer, you can define it only for a particular visuals. Like okay, this slicer will affect only this visual. If so, for example, let me create a copy. So if I create a copy here, so you can see this is again this is not a pivot table, so it's just simply a table. So let's see what happens if I select all. Okay, what happened? So now you can see, right, nothing is happening here because I have just copied it. This is not a visual. What happens if I select this? So nothing will happen because I have not connected uh, this visual. Let's say someone say, okay, cool. So let's just skip this point as of now because we will see this thing more working in Power BI. So now we have slicer and category. Coming to the point, this is a cell. Uh, this is a cell, and exactly the same cell we will be seeing here. For example, this is also a cell. Okay, this is also a cell. Now, why I'm telling this? Because if you see here, and let me bring this data right next here. Okay, now if I you can see the data directly here, right? So that's why I've brought it here. So if you see, let's consider this cell. So basically, this cell is saying like, okay, in the name column, filter out Batman. So if I put a filter here, I will, the first filter is Batman. Okay. So again, okay, this won't work like this. I will filter in this shape because that is not working. Okay. So now we have say columns for rows for Batman only. The next filter you will see from here is like the second thing is uh, superpower category. So we are filtering that the superpower should be in analytics. So the second filter is analytics. So here I will filter out analytics. So now we have only a single row left here. So basically you can see now it will take the value as 10. Okay. Again, we have one more filter here. If I select anything from here, like if I want to select human or a mutant. So if I select mutant here, I will click here, then Batman will go off because we do not have any data for mutant in which is getting filtered by Batman and analytics. Okay, so these two levels is not having any mutant data, so that went off. Now this is another filter, and again this is another filter which you have seen working. So what I'm trying to say here is we have this row level filter. Okay, so each row, each column is having a filter. So this is very important to understand, because whenever we present any value or data in a table or visual, then it is getting filtered basis the rows and the columns. So even if I develop a chart here, so let me bring any chart. Say for example, this is let's say this one is clustered column chart. Okay, so it will ask you for to put x-axis and y-axis as value. Okay, so you will be having an y-axis and x-axis. So basically these two axes is filtering the data. Okay, so this is important to understand how tax filter function works. So now going back to our this Power BI file. So here again sales sum is our measure and sales amount is our direct column. So sales amount, if I show you here, I go to this model view, sorry, this is data view. Okay, sorry, data view, and this is my sales table. I click on this, you will see the sales table here. Now we have the sales amount. Where is, so this is, you can see it directly here. We have sales amount as a separate column, and it is on a row level. You can see, right, for each of the sales key, each of the channel key, not each, like combination of all of these, we have a single row, right? So it is getting filtered on this level, like sales key, date key, channel key, store key, product key, promotion key. So basically these are the filters getting applied to our data on the the lowest level, or the granularity of data is our at this level in this table. So what basically a measure is, now coming back here, so you can see sales amount independently. So if I click here on sales amount, you will see it is taking as a sum, right? So this is by default creating a measure, internal measure. You are not seeing this as a measure, which is using sum function. Okay, sum function, and it is simply what it is doing, it is summing of all this sales amount values here. So for this particular promotion name and start date level, so let me tell you more clear. So what this means is, if I have say 1 2 3 4, okay, and we have x and uh, y, we have say a, b, c and d. Okay, some random values. Okay, now what that means here is, so for example we have two levels of granularity here. So x cross a, this is two levels. Okay, but some place at somewhere we just want to see this b column. So what this measure is doing here, the sales amount indirectly in this view, so it is taking only x and y. Okay, because this is unique, distinct values it is taking. Now what it will do, it will sum up all the x. 3 plus 4 basically 7, and 5 6 11. Okay, so this is what the normal column, if we bring in it visual in Power BI, performs. Okay, so what I mean is this this is a filter context. Okay, so whatever we put here, that will be filtered by all the columns which are present here. So I think everyone is getting this. Anyone having a doubt can tell me right now. Okay, no one, then okay, cool. So now I will move ahead. So this is basically getting filtered. Right now I have said this is filtered. So we need a function, right? We need a function which ignores these filters, right? So that we can just calculate the cell sum. Like for example, we are having uh, let me say this thing. For example, AC and holiday promotion. We have, you can see, right, for the total sum of AC and holiday promotion, irrespective of the start year, okay, is 50 something, whatever. So it is something 50 crore or something. What? So it is same for all the three rows, right? So what this measure is actually doing, if you look carefully, this measure is taking all the values of this start date column. So it is taking every value as a single column. It means like just ignore this start date column here, and we will calculate the whatever remains here. So you, I think you're getting my point, right? So now coming to the cell sum, here you can see that I have written word calculate. So what this calculate means? So if I just go back to our DAX Studio, sorry, DAX guide, and just click on filter functions. So you will see a set of functions which are categorized as filter function. Here you can see calculate is present. So basically calculate is a powerful measure which can modify the filter, which can edit the filters, like which type of filters. So it will, again, the the thing to mention here is which type of filters will it edit or modify. So it will edit only this part of the filter. So for example, whatever filter is in our table, or whatever filter is in our, this say, uh, visual, or right now it is a table, it can be a pie chart or a bar chart or anything. So each x-axis or y-axis or each row, or however you see, like table is the best example to make this thing understand. So it will ignore this promotion start date. So basically uh, this calculate function, whatever you write inside, can edit the filters. Okay, so inside calculate function, my first thing is what I want to perform, like with which column. So sales amount is my column, and what I want to do, I just want to get a sum. You can also write here like max. No, okay, I don't want sum, I can write max. So for example, if I click max, write max, what see what happens, max. And now you can see, right, if I click enter, now you will see the values will change accordingly. See, so for example, the max value has been taken for AC and holiday promotion. So for example, this is what was the max value for AC holiday promotion. So you can see from here, I think it is taking some wrong values maybe. Okay, sorry. This is taking something else also into consideration. So we have to look. But the idea behind this is now you can get right whatever the max amount of sales amount might have happened for Asia holiday promotion in the row level. I guess I need to do something else. You will see the max value here. Okay. Now making it back to the sum. So this is how it calculate filters. Now we have another filter function also. If I go back to text guide, you can see all is also here, right? So this is important. It is saying returns all the rows in a table or all the values in a column, ignoring any filters that might have applied. So here in sales amount, the filters are Asian holiday promotion and start date. Okay, so I have two filters. So I have written inside all the one this filter. Okay, so what this is saying, just ignore this start date. Okay, and take everything. So now you can see here it is ignoring our start date, and it is summing of all of these. So basically if you manually sum these three values, okay, then it will be something equal to this much only. So you can check and it will come out to be correct. So this is regarding measure, and we have some more context also. I think we are already 2050 in the time. So let me check. Okay. So this is an overview of measure and calculate or filter functions, which we will discuss in upcoming sessions if provide time provides. So one more thing I will say here. For example, many of the people do not understand what is filter context. Like if you go and watch the any YouTube video or anywhere like formulas, what does this mean by filter context or row context or anything? Okay, so what a filter context is, I will tell you right now. So for example, in this cell we are getting filter from two columns directly. Like one column is this name and the other column is this superpower. So we have name. If I take something like this, only as this part, copy paste it here. So this is a tuple. So if anyone is experienced with Python or something like that, so he might be knowing what a tuple means. Tuple, this thing, T-U-P-L-E, tuple. Okay. So this is a tuple. So basically the single column which is filtering is called tuple. If I bring in the other column also, I don't know how many rows it was. Let's see. Okay. So now this is filter. Okay. This is kind of a half filter you can say. And if I bring in all of these filters together, like if I say the normal filter and this slicer also, so this is our complete this complete thing is our filter context. So what does this mean? Filter context means it includes each of the filters getting applied. So basically even if it Hello. Okay. So even if any of this is getting applied, so it will come into a filter context. So whenever anyone says like, okay, what is a filter context and how to understand, so whenever you listen to this word, right, so it will say, okay, filter context means each of the filters present in our visual or Power BI or anything. Okay. And now only if we include multiple tuples, then it will be a simply filter or row level filter, you can say, because you can see, right, these are on the row levels. It is filtering basis row level, like for each of the row it is filtering. Okay. So this is you can say the base for measure, not complete base. There is a lot to be talked about, discussed about this thing, and there is some many things which I want to show you here, because this is not sufficient. Like, we have many functions present here which needs an separate attention, extra attention and care. How what this is. So basically we have discussed one thing today, that is measure and filter context. This is row context, this is row context, and everything is filter context, including every filters present here. Similarly, in Power BI we have slicer. This is row context filter. We have this filter also. Okay. And we have different filter which I will show you right now. Okay. So all those come in this filter and every other filters here present here, which you can see, it comes in filter context, and this is the row context. Okay. The other thing left to be discussed today is context transition. So I won't go into that today, because that will be kind of more confusing and more data, more knowledge, something like that. So we will take up maybe in the next session, or maybe after some hands-on experience with this thing. So I have few minutes left. So I will quickly show you how to load an Excel data. Okay, because that is important. I haven't shown you till now how to load a data. So let it be there. This is my table, comic comparison. I will filter out this thing. So let me save this file. Okay. Now let's say we need we need that data here in our Power BI. So what we can do, we can just simply click Excel workbook, or we can go from here, and there are many ways. Basically you can also select file. uh, Here we can see get data, we have Excel workbook. So there are many more options as well. So there are many ways you can import this Excel workbook. So just simply click Excel workbook, and now it will take you to here. Wait, now, so we have this our file superhero data. I'll just simply click open. Okay. Now you can see, right, it is showing me all the sheets which are present in our Excel file, right? So it is comic comparison, my pivot table, sheet 3 which I have created right now. So I will just select only so I can take all of this table or simply single table. So as of now I will just select this table. Okay, comic comparison, because I am having the data here. So the first thing you can see here, right, this is a preview. So in the preview only you can see that this is something null. Okay. And the original data starts from here, comic universe name and something like this. So we need to transform this data to our proper format. right? We need to remove these columns. So what I will do, I will just simply click on transform data here. So it will open Power Query. So in the last session, I had mentioned about what Power Query is, and how to open Power Query in Power BI as well as Excel. So Power Query is a very strong feature of Power BI and Excel, I will say. So now you can see here we have the data here. We have the column 1, column 2, column 3. So we don't want these 3 columns. These are unnecessary. So what I will say do is, you can see here the steps. So basically I took from the source, it navigated to the table. So okay, let me take you through. So what the source means, if I click source here, it will say these many tables or sheets are present. So I will just, the next step is navigation. What navigation does is, it simply clicks on table here. So if I click table, it will add an extra step. See, so it will say you are about to create a navigation step that replaces the subsequent step. So I will click say yes. Okay, I will say okay, let's continue with this. So it continued, and again it changed automatically, like change type. Okay, so you can see here we have these things. Okay, I took the wrong table, I guess. So I will again go back to source. I will take comic comparison, sorry. Okay, just click on continue. Now we have our original table. So I think now you are familiar with the applied steps thing. And now what we can do here is, we can do many things here. For example, I don't want these 3 columns, so I will just select these 3 columns. Shift select, it will select everything in between. If you click shift and then enter, or select or click, it will select everything in between. And now what I will do is, it is simply saying remove columns. Okay, so remove columns, I will just click on this. It just removes that column. So you can see here an extra step is getting created here, that is called removed columns. Okay, now I also do not want these first 3 rows as well, right? Because this is nothing, we don't want it, this is redundant. So I will again select similarly, or I can just simply say, sorry, I will click here. So it is asking me, it has some options here. Okay, so basically it says remove top rows. Okay, remove bottom rows, remove alternate rows. So I will click on say keep range of rows. I will click on this one, top rows only, for ease. So it asks me how many rows you want to remove, like number of rows. So I have 1 2 3, so I will just write 3 and click it OK. And now you can see that those many rows have been deleted, removed, and you can see another extra step has been added here. So again you can see this comic universe name, these are not as of now treated as a column headers, but we want this as a column header. So again what we can do is use first row as headers. You can see here option, I'll just click here, and now you have this as your column headers. Okay, so simply, and again you can see next step has been marked here. You can always change it, change this name also. So for example, I double click here, or okay, I'll just rename. I can rename this as changed column. Okay, so this is a pretty easy thing. You can do many more transformation from this thing, which we will discuss in subsequent upcoming sessions. So now our table has been created, right? So now we can simply just click here, close and apply. Okay, So now you will see load comic. It is loading the data. Like you can also change the name of the table. As of now, it is by default comic comparison. So now that table has been loaded. How to find that table? So okay, it's loading. I will go to this data view, minimize this, and you can see our table here, comic comparison. We have the table here. It is having category, comic universe, and everything which we needed. So this is how we add any data file or something. This is how we do the transformation using Power Query. And there are many options and features available to this. So you can take it, or you can edit, or you can say like all the ETL right now. In the last session which we had said, right, or if I show you the PPT also, the first thing which I had mentioned as ETL, like, right? So all these steps in the ETL, extraction, transformation, and loading, you have seen as of now. So this is what ETL means, and this can be done by the Power BI only. And if we have other tools also, right, like Tableau and other things, so those tools do not have dedicated ETL service with them or embedded with them. So for Tableau and other visualization tool, we need to have separate ETL softwares or apps. For example, you can see here. So this is, I think, I will say this is the end of today's session. And if anyone has doubts or anything he wants to ask, he or she can ask right now. No, no, different sheets present in an Excel are treated as separate tables in Power BI. So whenever you load data or transform into Power BI through an Excel, it will show you all the options for the table. So for example, if I have shown you in this place only. For example, if I go to transform data again, it opens up my Power Query. Okay, and I click here comic comparison, go to the source. So you can see here, right? Uh, the first sheet was my pivot table. It is taking it as a table. The second sheet is also a table. The comic comparison is also a table, right? You can see this thing. So I think now it answers your question, right? Okay, cool. Anyone else? Okay. So that's it. Then if anyone has doubt, they can always uh, may email me. One more thing I just wanted to say, if you guys are interested in exploring Power BI, so what that means is, as of now, you can see, all right. You can see this is Power Automate for Power BI, and this is not coming directly in normal Power BI. So if you see the normal Power BI, we do not have any such visualization here. Okay. So for getting those type of custom visuals and visualization, we need to log into an account. So you have to have a Power BI account, and Power BI account means like you need to have an organizational account. If you do not have any organizational account, you will not be able to create a Power BI account. So maybe I can send you guys a Power BI account. So for example, or I can create a Power BI account for you guys. That will be only for Power BI and nothing else. free account where you can test all the custom apps, and you can also check the Power BI service. So here you can see, right, I have created three accounts. So one is for Sanjay, and he is using it. You can see Power BI free, and similarly I can create some limited users. So if you want, you can ping me, or I will say, uh, can you just write down your email ID in this presentation?